I think we want to turn first, actually, to the terrorist attack in Brussels last night. We're seeing some live pictures here. Our understanding is that the terrorist suspect was killed. The Belgian Justice Minister is saying that the attacker was known to the police. Scarlett, there was a terrible inevitability about this, given events at the weekend, wasn't there? We've sort of been on tenterhooks waiting for an Islamist attack in Europe. Only 2 people lost their lives in this situation. I say only, devastating for their families, and our sympathies go out to them. Are you more worried now off the back of events in the Middle East?
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody is. I mean, this was a very strange attack, right? So apparently the attacker was doing it because there was a 6-year-old Muslim boy who was killed in America because he was a Muslim, right? So the attacker did it because of that, and then killed 2 Swedish people. I mean, this is, it's very, so this wasn't an anti-Semitic attack, which is what one would have expected. And this is what was called a...
Well, he claimed in a video his allegiance to Islamic State.
Yes.
So I mean, if you are a supporter of Islamic State, you are an anti-Semite by definition.
But what I'm saying is, he didn't. The people who were killed were not Jews. I mean, this was just an attack.
It's a war in the West, is it not?
It's yes. What I'm saying is, it's not anti-Semitic. That it was just, and I mean, it is. It seems that these people. There was a football match going on, an international, and they were probably football supporters. I mean, this is an absolute tragedy.
It is.
Yeah, it is. And the tragedy, of course, started on October the 7th, Tonia, with those awful images of Hamas invading Israel and the peaceful, beautiful music festivals that were going on. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, on Friday, I was supposed to be travelling on the Eurotunnel with my husband, and one of my daughters had an absolute fit about it. She was going mad because you're not travelling because there's going to be a day of Jihad and they're going to go for the Eurotunnel. She was obsessed. I mean, hysterically obsessed.
Yeah.
We didn't go.
Yeah.
We didn't go, and this is the type of terror that is now gripping all of us. So, you know, when one of my children goes to go on the underground, my stomach clenches because I think, and that's how we're feeling now. We're feeling that these attacks are going to start, and yes, some of them are going to be orchestrated, and some of them are going to be these complete loony nutters that are these lone wolves that go off and just kill people, like this guy did.
Yeah.
So this is what we have. I mean, it's nothing compared to what's going on in Israel at the moment. So we're living in terror.
But it's not even the number of casualties, the number of people killed in these terror attacks. It's, as you say, the atmosphere that brings, the fear it instills in people. Yeah. That's the whole point of these kind of lone terror attacks. You never know when one could strike, and that's the fear.
I was also saying yesterday, Scarlett, actually, that for the first time this weekend just gone, I was very nervous about my teenagers going into central London to an event in Leicester Square, and they did go because I thought we can't live in terror, actually.
I know, listen, if it had been up to me, I would have gone. But when you see your child getting so upset about something, and we were both going as both her parents.
Yeah. This is the problem, though, isn't it? That when events like this in the Middle East are also being played out on our streets here, that this ripple effect of this fear, and in fact, Chip Chapman was here and he called it dread hazard or threat inflation, 2 new terms that I learned this morning, that we have to keep things in proportion.
No, I think it's really important. I mean, I think for people who live in Jews who live in Jewish areas, so that they can be identified, I think it's absolutely terrifying. I think if you're going to a Jewish school, but actually it's really tough on Muslims as well. I mean the amount of Islamophobia.
But Scarlett, can I just say something? Sorry to interrupt you, but you know, I live in a Jewish area, and those schools, these Jewish schools, have always had to have added security. They've always got security guards outside. Now, I don't see security guards outside mosques. I don't see Muslims having to fear for their children and for their lives. So we do have a problem in Britain with anti-Semitism, because otherwise they wouldn't have these security guards outside the schools, outside the temples. So There is something going on here.
No, we do have a problem with anti-Semitism, and one of the problems with anti-Semitism is that it comes from both sides. So the Islamic State, the completely mad Islamic people, but actually, you know, I mean, another growing problem is the alt-right, right? And they are white supremacist, anti-Semitic. I mean, so what I'm trying to say
Why are they a problem? Where are they a problem?
If you talk to counter-terrorism people, they are the ones that they are until this weekend.
Well, that was rubbish, though, wasn't it? We know that was rubbish. That was just us. They're trying not to be racist because you don't want to say that it's all Islamic terrorists.
It's really not.
But it is because the numbers speak for themselves.
This really isn't true. Is the ones that are being caught? They are the anti. I mean, I've spoken to people who are at the top of counter-terrorism, and they are very, very worried about the alt-right, who are white supremacist and what I'm saying is anti-Semitism is a real problem.
There is a far-right threat. There is a far-right threat, but we do know that Islamism is still the top threat when it comes to terrorism in this country, unfortunately. And those are the facts as it stands. Of course, that could change. But you also have people on the far left who are also anti-Semitic. So it's this horrible collection.
I'm interested in that, Scarlett. Just elaborate on that a little bit for me, because what we are seeing in the Middle East and what we are seeing here is an Islamist problem with Jewish people, which far surely outweighs any kind of organisation of what we might deem to be the far right.
Well, actually, it's an Islamist problem with the West. I mean, ISIS never, you know, they're not picking on Jewish people. They will have anybody. I mean, as it was shown in Brussels, as far as we know, those two Swedes were not Jewish. They were Western, and that is the problem. I mean, that's the problem with radical Islam, is that it's against the West.